Let me know just when we are ready to go, when we are ready to start the
We're
webinar.
ready. Go ahead. Over to you.
All right. You have already introduced myself. So thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you everyone else who has joined the webinar. I'm honestly super excited for it, and really looking forward to it because it will be a learning thing for me as well. Uh, so I'll quickly reintroduce myself. I'm Haris. I look after performance marketing of Dubizzle and Bayouth. So people who are in UAE right now, they would probably know what Bayouth and Dubizzle is. But for people outside UAE, Bayouth is the number one property portal in UAE, and Dubizzle is the number one classified in UAE. So performance marketing of both the portal, I'm involved in the digital marketing of both the platforms. So, as Joanna mentioned, like feel free to ask any questions. Any question you have, just unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Or if you feel like dropping a message in the chat, you can do that as well. I'll go through all the questions in the chat, and if we are short on time, I'll respond back to all the questions at the end of the webinar. So let's begin with the webinar. The topic of the webinar is understanding the competitors' PPC strategy. So it sounds very fancy, but it is not, and it's very important. And the goal of this webinar is to equip you all with killer strategy to run your search campaign and win with your competitors when you are running your search campaigns. So yes, I'll quickly go over with what are the topics we will be covering up in this webinar. So there will be a quick review of what search engine marketing is, just to see that where you all stand and how much understanding you all have, and if you're running search campaigns or not. Importance of identifying your competition. We all need to realize why it is so important. And then we will see how the competition actually works when it comes to search marketing. Then there's one tool called Auction Insight. So I'll deep dive into Auction Insight to see what we can learn from it, what how we can use it in our day-to-day search optimization and running the search campaigns. Then we will see that how much our competitors are actually investing in the market, how much they are investing in search campaigns. In the last, we will conclude with what are the strategies which we can use to beat our competition in search engine marketing, and some of the tools which we can actually get help from in order to achieve our goals. So I'll quickly begin with asking question to everyone, and anyone can respond to it. Do you guys know how much do you guys know what search engine marketing is, and what exactly are the components of search engine marketing? Anyone from the audience? Is anyone raising a hand, Joanna?
No, not right now. But feel free to drop in the chat, guys, if you are shy.
Yes, just let me know like
We
how much do you know
have,
about search engine marketing, then I'll give you my perspective what about what search engine marketing is.
Yes,
Other, go ahead.
from my point of view, search engine marketing is like running your business paid campaigns over search engines like Google, Yahoo, and like that. So it's
Exactly, that's
like
what it is. That's what it is. Perfect answer. I think I don't need to explain it any further. You have given the perfect answer. So that's exactly what Athar has mentioned. Like when we search for anything on Google, we see multiple ads. Let's say I'm searching for gym near me, maybe. So when I search for anything, I get multiple results after that search. So let me search for anything else, maybe cars for rent if I'm looking for to rent a car. So when we search for any keyword, we get multiple results of it. And in the top section of the search results, we always see that there is often ad written in couple of results which we get. So that's what we are aiming for. That's what our objective is, to serve our ad when somebody is searching for a relevant terms or relevant keywords, which can be put in, which is searched by a potential customers of ours. So that's what search engine marketing is, to show your ad based on keywords on a search engine. And we primarily, when it comes to SEM, we primarily talk about Google because Google has the largest share in the market, and we majority of us and majority of the campaigns are being run on Google. So we kind of focus on Google when we talk about search engine marketing. But there are other platforms as well. Obviously, there is Bing, there is Yahoo, where you can serve your ads. Where you can actually serve your ads with Google as well. So that is something which is important for everyone to understand what search engine marketing is. And you probably a lot of people from the audience will already be running these campaigns. But problems and challenges comes when you start marketing on a particular keyword and your competitors are also there, because they also know that users are searching for these keywords. Let's say here, for example, Skyscanner is running an ad. Skyscanner cheap flights is something which Skyscanner wants to market, but you can see other competitors in the results as well. So competition will always be there. If you have your business competitor, they will be targeting these exactly same keywords or exactly same audiences which you are focusing on. So it's important for us to realize the importance of having high competition in the market when it comes to search ads. If think of a scenario where the competition is high, what can be the repercussions of that high competition? Your ad ranking can go down. So we all know that when we search for an or a keyword, there are multiple ads listed down in the search results. So if the competition is high, there is a probability that you can lose your rankings. Let's say you were ranking on the first position previously, then you start to deteriorate because of your competition. And think it from your perspective when you're searching for any keyword on Google. We always go for first, second, third option. We don't go for the fourth option. The chances of us going to the fourth or fifth option is way lesser than going for the first option. So if we are not ranking well on the search terms, our CTR is going to decrease as well. Our clicks are going to decrease as well. And since there will be competition and it's a bidding process, Google decides based on bids and quality. So your cost per click will go up as well because there are other competitors in the market and everyone is competing for the same audience, for the same keyword, for the same user to acquire. So your cost per click can go up as well. And if the cost per click is going up, someone clicking on the link, going to your website, that conversion on the website is going to go up as well. And eventually you might end up getting low customers at a high cost. So this is something which we all need to be careful of when we are running the search campaign, and this could be a repercussion of high competition in the market. So, and just think it from the perspective of the market basically. Everyone is fighting for the same keyword, everyone is fighting for the same user, and they all want to win that user. So that competition basically brings up a lot of challenges. But don't worry about it. There are also solutions for it. How can you deal with your competition? But before going to that solution, we need to understand how search engine marketing works and what are the important factors which we should be knowing and we should be careful about. So one thing which is super important is that Google's objective is search intent fulfillment. What do I mean by that? I mean that Google primary objective is to satisfy the user who is searching for anything on Google. The other objective is obviously to make money from the paid advertisement, but the primary objective is that they need to fulfill the intent of the user. If I'm searching for something, I need solution, I need result, I need my answer basically from Google. And that is something Google is never going to compromise on. So whenever you are thinking about the journey, about how search engine marketing works, that should be your top level thing. That is the logic behind everything, how Google ads are served. So keeping that in mind, Google has built a process of ranking all the ads. If 3 or 4 competitors are bidding for the same keywords, there's a process by which Google decides which ad is going to be on the first position, which is going to be on the second position, and third and fourth, so forth. So that process is called auction process, and it's a simple formula like the CPC bid into relevance score or quality score. So what CPC bid is that how much maximum amount you are willing to pay to get one click. That's your CPC bid. The other quality score, the other component is quality score. That quality score is usually between 1 to 10, and that quality score is dependent on multiple things, which I'm going to cover in the next slide. So one thing which affect quality score is your expected CTR. CTR is click-through rate, how many people saw your ad, and out of them, how many people click on your ads. So that's your CTR. If your expected CTR is high, your quality score will be better. If the second thing is keyword relevance to the ad group, like how is the overall theme of that ad group? Is the ad relevant to the keywords or not? Is the ad going to fulfill the search intent or not? Third thing is the landing page quality and the relevance. So when somebody clicks on the link, he or she goes to the website. How is the experience on that website? Is it convenient to use? It is faster to load, or is it basically giving the right information or not? Similarly, ad text should be relevant. Like if I'm searching for a gym near me, then ad text should have a relevant answer to my question, to my query. Last thing, the historical Google account performance helps in getting a higher quality score as well, because Google prefer the reliable brands over the newbies. So if your brand is there and running ads for very long and you are operating a Google account for very long, your chances of getting high quality score is much more than any other company which recently started the campaigns or recently started marketing on Google. So if you look at all the factors which affect quality score, you will find one thing. The user experience while searching on Google should be good. They should get the relevant answer. They should get the good quality ad copies in front of them. Their experience when they go on the website should be convenient and easy, and it should be coming from a reliable source. So that's how important the Google search process is, Google search intent is basically. So when we see the formula, we see there CPC bid and there's quality score. So first thing comes to, like, this was the first thing which comes to my mind when I started reading about, when I started learning about it, that I can easily win the competition by bidding more. If my competitor is bidding 2, I can bid 10 or 12 in order to win the competition. So let's look at an example. So let's say for a keyword, Samsung, Apple, Huawei, they all are bidding for it. So Samsung is bidding $2 and their quality score is 10. Apple is bidding $4, quality score is 4. Huawei $6, quality score is 2. OnePlus $8, quality score is 4. Who do you think? And if somebody answers that question, I will send him or her chocolate emoji, because that's what we can do in a webinar. So who do you think is going to win the competition? Anyone from the audience? It's Samsung. Anyone else? Apple. All right. Samsung. So all of those who have answered Samsung, they are right about it, because the formula is bid into quality score. So when you multiply bid with quality score, that's what you get, the ad rank. Samsung ad rank is 20, Apple is 16. And that's how the positions are decided. The more the ad rank, the higher the position will be. So Samsung got 20 ad rank, so their position is first. So the learning out of this exercise is that you just cannot win the competition by raising your bid. You need to serve good quality ads, you need to serve relevant ads, your experience should be better, and users should be satisfied out of your ads. That's what the top line is. So just by raising the bid, it's not practically possible to win the competition every time. Quality scores matters a lot. So one thing which is the most important thing when it comes to monitoring your competitors is auction insights. What auction insight is, I'll quickly show you on the Google Ads account. Mm, so yeah, so this is how your typical dashboard is like. If you want to see how your competitors are performing, all you have to do is you just go into the campaigns, and on the left under the ad groups, you will find the auction insights. Just click on it and you will get all the results which other competitors are getting out of the same ad group or out of the same keywords. So auction insights can be seen on the campaign level as well as on the ad groups level. So you can actually see how overall campaign is performing when you compare it with the competitors, and how overall ad groups are performing when it comes to the competition. So some of the key matrices, I'll quickly go over them in order to you to understand um, what actually the auction insights are. So whenever you are hovering, like whenever you are looking at the Google Ad platforms, remember, in order to know more about the matrix, just hover over it and you'll get the definition of the matrix. So first thing, and the important thing, very important thing which we have is impression share. Impression share tells you what was your impression share. You is my company, and what was the impression share which other companies are getting for the same ad group. So I was getting 37, other companies were getting 35, 12, less than 10. So this is what impression share is. Impression share is basically how much total impressions I am getting out of the potential impression which I could have got. So you can compare your impression share with your competitors. Then we have overlap rate. Overlap rate is often another advertiser ad received an impression in the same auction that your ad also received an impression. So it's basically when your ad impression is served, how many times or how many percentage of that search the other competitor were present as well. So if let's say the Sheen.com has 33.3%, that means that 33.3% when my ad was served, Sheen.com was present over there as well. So it's another good metric to monitor. Then we have position above rate. Position above rate tells you that how often your competitors were ranking way better than you. Like they were above you. Maybe let's say you were on fourth position, they were on third position. What's the percentage of that number? And then we have top of the page rate. Top of the page rate tells how many times you or your competitors were above the organic search result. When you search for anything, you get paid results as well as organic results. With no ad, these are organic results. So all the above ads which are above organic results, they are counted in top of the page rate, because ad can be served anywhere. Ad can be served on the top, they can also be served on the bottom, they can even be served on the second page as well. So this is just the first page, top of the organic results. Organic search, Tabassum, organic search is basically when you search for anything on Google, there are two types of results you get. One is the paid ads, which is basically advertised by any company or any business. The other results are coming from the Google own mechanism or through the own algorithm. It is not paid. It is just there to serve the user intent better. If I search for anything, organic results will definitely be there, and there is a chance that Google is using that search term to market as well. So the things, the ad copies on which ad is written, they are paid ads. The results with no ad written on them, they are actually the organic results. I hope I have answered your question. So coming back to the auction insight again, we covered top of the page rate. Then we have absolute top of the page rate as well. Absolute top of the page is the number one position which any marketer can get on the search results. This is absolute top of the page. The result right after the search bar, that is the absolute top. So you can actually see how many times I got on the first position and how many times the other got on the first position. So it's very important to see, because Positions matters a lot because higher the position, better your CTR will be. And that's a general trend we can all see in our search behavior as well. When we search for anything, we go for the first click and the second click most oftenly rather than going for the third or fourth option. Then we have outranking share. Outranking share is that how many times your competitor was there and you weren't there basically. So all these metrics help you understand how the market is responding to the competition and where do you stand in terms of the competition. Let me get back to my slide. So this is what we have covered. Then we can also segment the auction report as well. So this data can be segmented on the basis of time. This will tell you like on the monthly basis how your competitor and you were performing. If you select segments by month, uh, it will show you results by a month. So this will help you in understanding. If you start working towards anything to beat your competitors, you will be actually able to see over that period of time. You can compare it with the last month. So it's for the comparison of the months. Other thing you can do is device wise, see the data device wise because it will tell you how you and your competitors are performing when it comes to individual device. And I'll tell you the importance of it later in this slide. It's very important when it comes to giving tough time to your competition. Um then we have the process of estimating how much our competitors are spending. So this is something which we can find out with the given matrices on Google platform because we know how many impressions we are getting, how many impressions share we are getting, what's our CTR and what's our CPC. This all can be found on your main dashboard. If you look at the campaigns, you can see the average cost, average CPC, direction rate, impressions, everything can be found over here. So we have this information. From this information, we can actually calculate how much our competitors are spending at the moment or in the past 1 month, whatever the duration you want to look at. So you need to identify the duration you want to look the data of, and then you can start your calculation from there. So let's say we know the impressions, impression share, CTR, and CPC from the ad platform. What else we can find out? So impression share absolute, this is our own impression share. We can easily see it on Google. Impression share percentage, the impression share we are getting, that we can see on Google. Tabasum is asking a question, how can the people belonging the medical background increase their software skill because the demo you are delivering now is a little bit difficult. I understand that it's very technical, but it's when you look at into detail, honestly, if you're from medical background or you are from engineering background, from any background you are, it's very easy to understand because they have built the systems in a way that everyone can understand and run the campaigns. So just keep on asking the questions. The more questions you ask, the better you will be able to understand. So where were we? We were discussing the impression share percentage. The impression share we got from the campaign. That's also we can see from the Google metrics. By using these two numbers, we can actually calculate how much is the total impressions of that particular keyword or of particular campaign. Because I know what impression share percentage I am getting, and I know the number of it as well. So by a simple mathematical calculation, which is impression share absolute divided by impression share percentage, I can get the number of total impression which I could have achieved or which is in there in the market. So that is something which is very easy to find out. So now what I have is I have the total number of impression share. So now we have the total number of impression share which is there in the market. What else do we know about the market? We know that how much competitors are getting because that is something which we can see on the auction inside. If we go on auction inside, we can see our impression share as well as the impression share of competitors as well. Anyone who is confused about impression share can ask the question right away, and I'll explain it in detail. Is this impression share is that how much impression, by impressions I mean when my ad is visible to a user, that is one impression. An impression share percentage is basically how many times my ad got visible out of the possible ad viewing which I could have gotten. So that's the calculation for impression share. And it is important to know because we can see how much impressions we could have achieved in the market and how much we are getting and how what we can do to achieve the rest of them. Because honestly, if you ask a marketer, he or she would like to achieve 100% impression share. So that is something which is very important to monitor when you are running a search campaign. Uh, for the organic results question, I'll respond back to that at the end of the presentation because I honestly I really want to focus on this because this is very important to calculate. You will be able to get the spending of your competitors from it, and that is something which people are paying money online to get that numbers. So we have total impression number share which is in the market. We can see the competitors share from the auction insight as well. We can calculate the competitor's absolute number of that share. And that can be done with simple mathematical calculation, total impression into competitor's share. You will get the result for the competitor's impression absolute. Now, the last point is missing, which is CTR. So CTR is something which you will have to take an assumption on because you know what your CTR is. And for those who don't understand CTR is click through rate, how many clicks you are getting out of the total impressions. It's a metric which shows you that how well your ads are performing. So CTR is something which you will have to take an assumption of, and how you can take the educated assumption is that you know your CTR and you know the ranking of your competitors as well. So if your competitors are ranking similar to you, then you can take the exactly CTR which you are getting. And if they're getting better ranking than you, then you can take a CTR of a higher number. If they are ranking lower than you, then you can take a lower number of CTR. So that's how you can take the CTR assumption in order to see how what CTR your competitors will be getting. So as the next step, what we have is we have the total impression numbers, which we calculated in the first step. In the second step, we got the competitor's impression. And in the third step, we assumed the CTR of the competitors. Now from working from there, we can actually see the clicks which our competitors are getting. So that clicks can be total impression absolute into CTR. So we have the total number of impressions and we have the CTR. If we just multiply them, we will get the number of clicks our competitors are getting. Then comes the cost per that click. How much our competitors would be paying to get that one click. So that we can see from the auction insight. If we take the exact keywords on which we are running the campaigns, let's say we are gyms near me, I am using this query again and again. If let's say the keywords which we are using in our ad group, we simply put in the keyword planner, we can get the estimated bid top range and low range from Google. So what we can do is we can take an average out from it and we can just simply calculate CPC from it. So CPC, I took the average number which I'm getting on the keyword panel, the high end, the low end, I took the average of it and I got the CPC. After that, everything is simple because I know CPC, I know how much clicks my competitors are getting. So by simply multiplying them, I can calculate what is the spend of my competitor in that particular duration. So I have also attached a sheet in this slide, which will take you to the sample calculation on Google Sheet. It's a template which you can use later for your working whenever you are working on calculating the spend of your competitors. So this is something which you can get from other tools as well, but that tools are paid tools. You will have to pay for that if your campaigns are not that way. I won't recommend going for the paid tools. I will recommend that use the existing data on the Google Ads and calculate by the backward working, calculate the spending of your competitors. By the way, by the end of the presentation, I'll share the link of this sheet as well, so you can use it in your future working whenever you need it. After all this working, you probably would be thinking that why is it important to know how much your competitors are spending? So what do you guys think? Why is it important to know how much your competitors are getting? What are we trying to do here? Anyone from the audience?
As it will help us to bid according to their spendings.
Correct, correct. To adjust our budget, absolutely. Exactly. That's the core
Uh,
reason of
Hello,
calculating. Yeah, please go ahead.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Actually, it is important to know that so that we can beat our competitor, and it will
Exactly.
also help us to know the market trend. That will ultimately help us to beat the our competitor. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good to know that everyone is on the same page. This is exactly what we are doing to control our budget, to adjust our budget, and to know that what are the benchmark for budgeting. When we are starting a campaign, we always have a question that how much should we spend, how much should we invest for a click, or how much in total in monthly for a monthly budget we should have. So this working will help you in setting a benchmark and setting your budget eventually. And second point can be that just by knowing how much your competitor is spending and on what keywords they are spending the money on. And this will tell you that what are their strengths and weaknesses. And their strength, you can build up your strength on that platform as well and compete with them. And then there will be weaknesses of your competitors which you will take advantage of. So all of you have answered it rightly. Um, this is important and we all should be doing it at some point of time. So after we have done all the working,
Excuse me, sir.
sure, come again.
Sir, yes, sir. Actually, as you are saying
I, I know like your voice is dropping. Can you repeat it again? Hello? Or you can just write it in the chat box as well. I can read it from there as well.
Uh, Actually, I want to ask you that as you are saying that it is a continuous process.
Yeah, why
So
don't you
every
guys
time
drop
we
it in the
have,
chat so that we don't.
But go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll answer
let's
that
drop it in the
question.
chat. Anything that you want to say, please go ahead and drop it in the chat.
And you can, meanwhile, you can continue with the question as well. I'll respond it right away. Should I wait for the chat message? All right, I'm monitoring the chat. Just
shall I
once it is
start
in
now?
the, yeah, you, if you have the question,
Yeah.
just ask it right away. I'll answer that.
Actually, I want to ask you that since you are saying that in order to beat our competitor, we just have to keep on checking the keywords that is coming in the Google searching SEO. So it will be very, irritating process that every time we have to be waking up to see at what is the potential minute where our competitor is being defocusing, and that is the potential moment that we can beat them only. So how can we adjust this time period to check them when they are wake up and they when they are out of their searching tool? Thank you.
That's a very good question. So I do this working on the monthly basis, and it totally depends on business to business and type of campaign and how competitive the campaigns are. I do it personally on the monthly basis to re-strategize myself and to reallocate my budgets or to implement a new strategy when my results are going down. So there is no book of rule, like there is no exact rule for it. It just depends on the level of information you are getting, and you can set the benchmark for your own self. You can set it for 1 month. I want to have a complete audit after a month or a 2 months. So the more you do, obviously it will be better, but it should be done. That's what the point of this whole webinar is. It everyone should be doing this in order to monitor what your competitors are doing. Frequency is something which is debatable and totally depends on the business to business requirements. So I'll jump back to my webinar presentation again. After you have calculated how much your competitors are spending, you can look at three things to re-strategize yourself in order to beat your competition. The first thing and the most important thing is improve your quality score. This is the biggest thing which you can do. The second thing is set bid adjustment. I'll go into details of each and every point which I have mentioned. And the third thing is finding new and unbidded keywords through search term report. So let's jump into the first point, which is improve your quality score. How can we improve our quality score? We all know the importance of quality score. Only increasing the bid won't help us in getting our results on the top. So in order to beat our competition, we need to have a strong quality score, 10 ideally, because it's 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, 10 ideally, and that we can do is by improving CTR. If our competition is offering anything, our offering should be more compelling than our competitor, and that's how the user psyche is. Like if two competitors are there, the more they'll go for the more compelling ad. Then your offering should be unique as well. Your USP should be mentioned in your ad copies throughout, because you have to stand out of your competition, and that is something which is going to help you stand out of your competition in the eyes of your users. Is try different call to actions, because call to actions are important. Call to action are like sign up now, apply now. So words like them, try using different call to actions and run maybe A/B testing on them just to see which ad copy is working well with which CTA. USP is unique selling point, right? Unique selling point is basically what is that differentiating factor between me and my competitor. What extra value or what different value will I be offering other than my competition? And think it from the buyer's perspective or from the user's perspective. When we are looking for something, when we are searching for something, we always go for the one which is different from others, which is different from the lot. So that's what your USP will be, unique selling proposition or unique selling point. Then make your ad copies more relevant to the search terms. You have to mention the headlines and the description, which is relevant to what people are searching for. If somebody is searching to buy basketball and your ad copy shows volleyball, obviously the person is not going to click on your ad. If it is going to show exactly like basketball court near me or something like that in the headlines, then it will be more compelling for the users to click on your ad and take action on your website. Uh, there are extensions. I hope everyone is aware of the extension. So I'll quickly show what extension is. When you search for something, let me search for anything new. Uh, so when we search for something, why aren't we getting extension over here? Let me just search for properties and Dubai. So we get different pointers below the search apps. Not very often we get that, but see, there is location near the ad. There are clickable links below the ad. These are the extension. There are 9 to 10 different extension which you can have in your ad copies. It can be location, it can be phone number, it can be other site links to your website. So use all the extension which are possible to use in order to make your ad more visible and stand out from your competitors. Then one thing which I always recommend is keep on trying different ad copies just to A/B test between the two, uh, because if you haven't tried something, you won't know how will the audience respond to that ad copy. So by testing, by running two different ad copies at the same time, you will be able to understand like what user psyche is like, what kind of ads, what kind of headlines or description are working well when it comes to search ads. Then you can improve your quality score by improving the landing page experience as well. Make the landing page more relevant to what people are searching for, and make it mobile friendly because a lot of users are searching for the keywords on Google from their mobile screens. So if your website is compatible with mobile, it's built according to the mobile screen, it's mobile friendly, then your eventually your quality score will is going to be up as well. Your speed of website loading should be good and optimized as well. So I'll bring that point again. If you look at all the points which I have mentioned, there's one theme of all the points, that is the user experience. The user experience should be convenient. Users should get what they are looking for in a convenient way. That's the top line is basically from this slide. And you have to do everything to make the user experience good. That's how you're going to increase your quality score. The better the quality score, the lesser you have to pay to rank higher. Then comes the bid adjustment. What are bid adjustments? So there are different components of search ads like location, time, day, device, where you can increase or decrease the bids. So if you have seen the auction insight on Google and you realize that maybe Sheen.com is not working on computers better or not working on mobile phones better, you can actually take advantage of the weakness of your competitor and just simply go on the devices, and from there, let's say it was mobile phone where the competitor was not performing well, you can select it and you can raise the bid by 20%, 30% for it. This way, what you're doing actually is you're taking advantage of your competitor's weakness. Similar is the case for time and day. Maybe your competitors are working well or their ads are working well in the daytime, not at the night. So you can actually focus more on getting users at the night time. So these are the things you have to continuously monitor the data for and make your bids adjusted according to that. Location is also something which where you can adjust your budgets for. Maybe if somebody is running ads for UAE and competitors are working better in Dubai but not in the Sharjah market, if it makes sense to your business, go and get acquire customers from Sharjah market at lower cost by ranking high, by serving good ads, by bidding more to rank on the top. So that's how important and strong tool the bid adjustment is. Then there is a third step to it as well, that find new keywords and the keywords which are not being used by your competitors. And finding new keywords sounds like it's a one-time thing. Trust me, it's an ongoing process because almost like a huge portion of daily searches on Google are basically new or unique searches. So it's very hard to imagine like different people searching different things, but that's actually what fact says. So we always should be in the hunting process for new keywords and the keywords which are not being used by our competitors. So how we can do that is number one tool for that is search term report. When you are running any campaign, you can simply go into that campaign and under the keywords, you will find the search term section as well. So what is search term? Search term is basically the exact term which was searched by the user. Keywords are the triggering point. Search terms are the exact search which are being made by the users. So if you find any search term which has higher impressions and it is not included in your ad groups, is not included as a keyword to your campaign, you can simply select it and add it as a keyword or as a negative keyword. If you think that you don't want to serve this keyword, just add it as a negative keyword. So this is one process of hunting new keywords or always on a search for to find new keywords. The other thing is that find those keywords where competitor SEO is good and they're not running ads for. So if someone is ranking well on SEO, there's a general cycle like usually companies don't run search ads on it. You can take advantage of it. Just find out keywords where they are relaxed, where they are chilled out about, like nobody's marketing over there or they are on the top when it comes to search organic results. You can bid on those keywords and get the users from there to your platform. Third thing is using the long tail keywords or the keywords which have high volume and they are not being used by your competitors. How you can do that is there's a tool on Google by the name of Keyword Planner. When you open Keyword Planner, so you can search for anything on Keyword Planner to get the results and similar results of. What you can do is, in order to find keyword switches which are high in volume and they are not competitive at all, you can add filters to it. You can add filter like competition, keywords which are low in competition, and then you can sort it by the average monthly searches. So that's how you're going to get the keywords which are high in volume but low in competition. So there you can run ad and you can get results at much more cost effective way and without facing much of a competition. Your competitors maybe if they're monitoring you, they probably will end up running the ads on the same keywords, but for a good time period you will be able to win that keyword. You will be able to get good results from that keywords. Last, there are tools for everything which we have discussed. Whatever we have discussed, like calculating your audience, your competitors spending, or seeing what keywords they are using, there are tools for it. They are paid. You'll find some freebies as well, which will tell you the exact things which we have discussed in the webinar. But why we have discussed it in the webinar? Because all these tools comes with a cost and they're estimates, not exacts. So by using our data from the Google Ads account, we can actually skip this process and get results without even going for a third-party platform. But if you have big campaigns, if you have big budgets, I would recommend going for third-party platforms because it's convenient, it's quicker, and you don't have to do a lot in order to get the results. So this is how all the typical third-party platforms are like. They'll tell you what are the keywords that the competitors are bidding on, what are their average positions, how much is the volume they are getting, what are they paying for each individual clicks, traffic, their trends, everything about your competitors. But do remember all these matrices, they are estimated, not exact, because only Google knows the exact numbers, no one else. So just be careful of that and you will be able to spy on your competitors. It will give you a good result if you're running high budget campaigns and you don't really have time to go through all the process which we have done previously in the slides. But if you're running a small campaign, small budget, I'll honestly don't recommend using a third-party platform to spy on your competitors. So at last, to conclude with whatever we have discussed, what are the things we can do? We need to study auction report inside out. This is the most important thing which we have on Google Ads account in order to see what our competitors are doing. So we need to know it inside out in order to re-strategize ourselves or in order to make our future campaign plans or future budget planning or something like that. Then we should be knowing that how much a competitor is spending through the working which we did, and by that we will be able to know that where our competitors lacking, and if one of our competitors is lacking on something, like take advantage of it, go there, bid for it, do things which will help you win the customers from there. And if your competitor is doing something good, just keep, because they all are in the market, they are market for very long. Just keep on monitoring them. If they're running good ad copies, replicate them by creatively, obviously not exactly copying them, but replicate them. See what strategy they are using, what CTA they are using, what type of keywords they are using, and if they are doing good, why not just give them tough time on their things which they are doing good. And the most important thing, the last thing, which is make your ads 100% optimized just to get a good quality score, because that's the topmost thing in order to beat your competition. Having a killer ad copy and having a relevant ad copy will help you in increasing your quality score, and eventually you are going to beat your competition. So that's the conclusion from my end. And now I will be able to answer all the questions. I know like there will be a lot of questions, a lot of things won't be clear. So you can bring it up right now. I'll be more than happy to answer all the questions. You can drop in the message, or you can simply unmute yourself to ask any question.
Yeah, Haris, I have one question. It's regarding payment. Actually, I'm located in Pakistan and my client is a Dubai based. So I have
Mm-hmm.
been using their card information, everything, but continuously Google is flagging it suspicious payment method, and then it like cancel my ad account. I don't know what to do.
I would recommend speaking to someone at the Google office. They are very supportive. They will get response back from them. So if the account is big, if your client is big, just get the contract signed between you and your between Google and your client. This will help you in streamlining the process better, and you will be better served by Google. So that would be my answer. If the client is not very big, then I would say just simply raise query with them on their customer support, and they are slow in responding, no doubt, but they will respond back to it.
Yeah, I have did that, but I don't know. They told me that you have to read the guidelines. That's it. No solution.
What's the problem they are mentioning? Like, what's the reason of that?
Just they
Like,
flag it just suspicious like payment method. That's it.
I think from someone from the payment will be able to answer it better, because how we work is we sign the contract with Google, because we have big accounts and all the process is streamlined, and we don't even have to put in our cards, just the monthly billing which we get. So if you can do that, that would be super awesome. If not, I think it will be very painful for you. I understand dealing with the customer support, but that's the only option, unfortunately, we have.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else from the audience?
Sir, how the bouncing rate affects the quality score?
Oh, so bounce rate for everyone is how many people go on your website and without completing one session, they just exit from it. So if the bounce rate is higher, it reflects that the landing page experience is not good. Your website is probably not passing on the relevant information, or it was taking too much time to load, or the information wasn't clear. Anything could be wrong with it. So it's a clear indication of that if your landing page experience is good or not. And if the landing page experience is not good, your bounce rate is obviously going to be high, and your quality score is going to be loose, is going to be very less.
Okay, but how does the bouncing rate work, sir?
So bounce rate is basically the number of users visiting your website, and they, without taking any action, exiting from it. That's the definition of bounce rate. I have kept it simple and not very technical, just for everyone to understand. So if somebody is going on your website, not taking any action and exiting from it, that shows, that reflects that the user wasn't satisfied from the website, or didn't get the relevant information from that website. So if the experience of user is not good, then the quality score is going to be less.
But if a user exits the website after spending some few minutes in the site, is this considered as a bounce rate?
I'll have to check for that. I think it's 30 seconds if I'm not wrong. I'll have to check the exact duration which a user have to spend in order to not count it as a bounce. But if it is counting it as a bounce, and if the bounce rate is higher, then your quality score is going to be affected.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And for the exact duration, I honestly you can anytime you can search it on Google. What I remember is it's 30 seconds, but we can check it after the call. Anyone else with the question?
Guys, the last couple of minutes, if any other questions, please drop in the chat or go ahead and unmute.
And Joanna, is there any question which I have missed in the chat box? I'm going through all the questions, all the comments which people have in the chat box. Organic search.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
please go
about
ahead.
it was all about the organic search.
The
I think
the
you
web.
missed one.
Sorry, come again. Your voice is dropping.
Actually, I'm saying that it was about organic search. In the beginning of the webinar, you were saying that at the last you will clear this question.
So whenever we search for anything we want Google to tell us the answer about, we get multiple results below after we search. So all those results are organic results. They are not paid by anyone else. They are just there to fulfill your search intent. And if there is ad written in the beginning of the copy, beginning of the results, that is the only thing which is paid. All of the other results, except for the ones which mention paid with mention ads on it, they are organic search results. And organic search results comes under the domain of search engine optimization. So search engine marketing is related to paid advertisement. Search engine optimization is related to organic results which you get on the search platforms.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. We have 1 minute on the clock. Who is the lucky one who is going to ask the last question?
Sir, and what is ad rank in this part?
Congratulations, you are the lucky one asking the right last question. So ad rank is a calculation done by Google every time when you search for any keyword, and that formula is used to calculate and decide which ad of which company or which business is going to rank first, second, or third. And ad rank formula is simple. That is bid into quality score. This is what ad rank formula is. The higher the ad rank, the better you are going to be positioned. The higher position you will get. In this example, we saw that Samsung got 20 in the ad rank, so it was ranked at position 1. An ad rank is dependent on two things: maximum bid and the quality score. By not only increasing quality score, you can by not only increasing bid, you can rank high. It should be both. Your bid should be good as well as your quality score to rank and to get the first position. I hope I have answered your question.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could you please connect me to Miss Jonah?
She is, I think, on a call. Jonah.
After the webinar is over.
Sure, Jonah,
Yeah,
are you on the call?
let's just wait to wrap it up. Yeah, Mohammed, one last question from Dina. With the assumed call click-through rate, is it possible to over or under assume, and how detrimental are both of these? So it's on the chat.
With the assumed CTR, is it possible to over and under assume, and how detrimental are both of these? So what I understand of the question is that we probably end up assuming the wrong CTR. That's what she means, right? So cool. So that process is basically estimating the spending of your competitor, not exactly calculating the spending of your competitor. If you take all the factors which are top page impression or impression share or where your competitors are ranking, you will be able to take an educated guess on the CTR number, because I know what my CTR is. If my competitor is ranking on the same, is ranking similar to me, that competitor is also going to have a similar kind of a CTR. So when you take that educated guess based on the position and based on the impression share, you will be able to get a close estimation of your CTR and eventually a close estimation of your competitor spending. So the idea is not to exactly calculate how much my competitor is spending, but just to get an idea that what is that range in which my competitor is investing money right now.
Right. I think we should wrap up all the questions because this could go on for a while. So thank you so much, Mohammed, for being here. Just so that everyone on the call is also aware, we've got a paid advertising cohort starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. And Mohammed is going to be the mentor on that. So if you'd like to be a part of that cohort, you can go over to Talent Hub and then just go ahead and send in your application. I'm going to add it on the chat. We'd love to have you on that particular cohort. And a big thank you from each one of us here at Qureos to Mohammed for being here, for being the mentor on this webinar, and for taking us through all of these new topics. And to each one of you who's been a part of the webinar today. I'll send over the deck and a feedback form, so please go ahead and fill that out for me. Thank you so much for spending your hour with us, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Jonah?
Thank you.